One of my only hobbies is to nitpick. I'm a notorious nitpicker, and even if I love something, I sometimes sound like I don't. By the way, I overanalyze, so don't think I'm being a hater or just being negative when I talk about Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy, a live-action adaptation coming to Disney Plus that just dropped a trailer recently, so based on that footage, I'm gonna lay out my thoughts, including the casting and looks of the characters and such. So, okay, first of all, the director David Lowery is actually a great director. He directed the live-action Pete's Dragon film, which I personally didn't care for, but I know a lot of people were pleasantly surprised by it. You can definitely see the craftsmanship there, but I am a huge fan of his film The Green Knight, which is not only one of the most visually striking films I've ever seen, but it makes medieval Arthurian mythology feel fresh and exciting, and it even gets a little weird and abstract, and I just love it. I've been quite curious to see how his Disney Peter Pan film would pan out, especially given the fact that he said he wanted to make it be like The Revenant with flying kids. And from the trailer, I'm not getting much Revenant, but I'm also not sure what elements from The Revenant he had in mind. The trailer's color palette is pretty dull and washed out, and not even in the stylistically gloomy, grim way. It doesn't provide a distinctive enough look or atmosphere to make the lack of color feel like it's contributing to a specific vibe. I mean, the vibe of the trailer is just kind of blandness, to be honest. It's giving bland and generic, and I'm not saying the final product will be, but the trailer doesn't feel like anything special. I don't care how many times Peter Pan has been adapted, you can always add something exciting to make it stand out, and I'm just not getting that here. I have faith that worst case scenario, this will still be solid, but it has the potential to be great. I don't know how much of this is inspired by Disney's 1953 animated Peter Pan, because I'm not seeing anything that is strictly from that version. You'd think Disney would want to strengthen the brand of their iconic characters and properties, so I don't really see why they'd make a Peter Pan film that has nothing to do with what they already established. I doubt there'll be any musical numbers, but perhaps there'll be hints of the original music in the score. Anyway, this looks just about as faithful to the animated film as the 2003 Peter Pan film was, and that wasn't even a Disney movie, it was Universal. So I'm curious to see how this new Peter Pan honors the legacy Disney has with the property, if they do at all. Okay, so I don't have any strong opinions on the casting of Peter Pan himself, because I'm not familiar with the actor playing him, as he is a newcomer. From the brief dialogue we heard from him, I'm not sure about him having a British accent, and also, he's missing that sort of mischievous charisma, but that's just me being picky, and he is a child, so I don't want to dwell on anything negative, and those things are not his fault anyways, it's the fault of the director. As far as Peter Pan being portrayed by a person of color, obviously, if a character's race or ethnicity holds no significance or value, I don't mind if the casting is open to anyone as long as they're a good fit for the role. But something that does kind of bug me is that so often when a person of color is cast as an iconic character that is traditionally seen as white, they rarely have the actor change their hair color. I don't give a damn what shade Peter Pan's skin is, but I do give a damn that his hair is not red here. I wouldn't care if this was from a different studio, but when it comes to the iconic Disney animated character, I want to see him brought to life with the distinctive, essential traits and characteristics that define his image. Having his shade of skin not be the exact same as the cartoon is not a problem at all, just as it wouldn't be a problem if his hair was red and the shade was a bit different from the animated version. But his hair is black now, and it sounds petty, but that does bug me if he's portraying Disney's version of Peter Pan. Hair color is a part of a costume for me, And if you can put on that costume and be the best choice for the role and capture the spirit of the character, no matter what your skin color is, great. But if you're not fully in costume, then I kind of feel like you're not fully in character. If you think I'm being petty, I am, because I'm still salty about Lady Tremaine from the live-action Cinderella having red hair instead of gray. Obviously, things have to adapt to live action, and I expect things to be given a new spin and new perspective and whatnot, but at least stick to the blueprint and expand from there instead of the erasure. But nobody seems to care about Peter Pan's hair color, and they don't even seem to care that he is a different race. However, they are hyper-focused on Yara Shahidi as Tinkerbell. Why are they angry about Tinkerbell but not Peter Pan? Is it a woman thing, or is it a black thing, or is it both? Anyway, for the same reasons I explained for Peter, I do not care what race the actor who is cast as Tinkerbell is, because there are much more important things to focus on when casting that character than making sure her shade of skin matches the animation. If Yara Shahidi was the one who brought Tinkerbell's sass and assholiness out, then great. But why is she not blonde? That is something that is essential to the character in my eyes. I don't care if it's dirty blonde, platinum blonde, strawberry blonde, bleach blonde, whatever looks the best when translating the character into live action, but blonde is kind of an essential element to the iconography of the character. If a white person was cast as Tinkerbell and she had brunette hair in the movie, I'd be annoyed. So yeah, my major problem is the lack of blonde hair. That's my major gripe, but another major problem with this Tinkerbell goes back to the dull look of the film. Tinkerbell is supposed to be illuminating a bright, sparkly glow, but she's casting the weakest, most pathetic, dim lighting that doesn't look right at all, and her pixie dust hardly sparkles either. If they didn't want Yara Shahidi's whole body to glow, at least make her wings glow, because it's so beyond dull. And I get that the director wants to look at things from a different perspective, and perhaps he wants things to be more real and gritty, but I believe you can achieve that successfully without making certain aspects look jarringly lifeless. Once again, this is me just being petty, and I'm sure I will enjoy the film, but I've got to air out my initial grievances. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Peter Pan and Wendy? Be kind, and please, for the love of God, don't bother commenting if you are going to say something negative about casting a person of color in a traditionally white role. And if you think the reverse would be the same, please seek cultural and historical context as to why it is definitely not. Please. Okay. Love you. Subscribe and comment and interact, because my channel has been flopping ever since I stopped making concept trailers because YouTube doesn't like me making concept trailers.